Welcome back. You're watching NewsX with me, Malvika. We take a look at the top story, which is, of course, the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau releasing a 15-page preliminary report on the June 12 crash of Air India's Boeing 787-8 aircraft in Ahmedabad, revealing both the engines shut down within seconds of takeoff and that engine 1 and engine 2 fuel cutoff switches transitioned from run to cutoff within 1 second of each other. Now, according to the AAIB, both engines of the ill-fated aircraft experienced a momentary recovery after an initial loss of thrust but ultimately failed to stabilize. The crash ultimately led to the deaths of at least 260 people. AAIB said that the wreckage site activities, including drone photography and videography, have been completed and the wreckage has been moved to a secure area near the airport. The report acknowledged that CCTV footage from the airport showed the ram air turbine deploying during the aircraft's initial climb immediately after liftoff. The investigation is still underway with several key components identified and quarantined for further analysis. Now, I have with me at this point in time Manmat Kumar Rutre, who is the former captain of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, joining me live on the broadcast. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us as we look at this very key development in the tragic AI-171 crash. I would of course like to begin by asking you, drawing your attention to this FAA SAIB report that was published back in 2018, which warned of this possibility of the fuel engine control switches locking mechanism being disengaged in certain Boeing aircrafts, which of course also included the 787 Dreamliner. Now, as a former captain of a Dreamliner yourself, what has been your experience with the aircraft, of course, firstly, and have you ever noticed, or in your experience or while working with the aircraft, of course, any issues with regards to this particular component being cited in the report?
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ma'am. There is a simple procedure here. When we have thrust issues on both the engines, there is a memory action which says to recycle your fuel control switches. That is to bring them to cut off and then to run. It might take half a second. It might take 1 second. The number of seconds to stop is not mentioned in the quick reference handbook, that is a QRH. So, and the issue over here is below 400 feet, we are not supposed to take any action. So, no memory actions to be taken below 400 feet. So, as per the AAIB report, what we see is everything was functioning correctly, the takeoff profiles are correct, but the fuel control switches were cut off below 400 feet. There are no actions like that, ever. It's not taught to us also. But in a dual engine situation, in case we have thrust issues on dual engines, both the engines, then we cannot wait also. There cannot be any particularly mentioned for height that you work at 400 feet or 200 feet. If you face something like that, then you're supposed to go ahead with the memory actions. That's why you can see the ram air turbine also is deployed. That is also in the memory actions, and you can see the fuel control switches have been cut off. So why would two pilots, any pilot, touch the fuel control switch before 400 feet? There might be some kind of situation. It might be one engine has failed. The other pilot might have by mistakenly cut off the other fuel control switch. But why would they cut off both the engines? There has to be some situation, even if they tell the pilots were confused. But then what is that confusion? Where is that confusion written in that report? It only says one pilot asking, why did you cut off? He might be, in what context he might be asking? He might be asking, why did you do it below 400 feet? You're not supposed to do. Or as per the procedure, no action till 400 feet. We need to climb out, whatever the situation may be. So we don't know the exact context. They have come out with a black and white report. What has happened? Fine. They have to go deeper into it. Very easily, just putting it on to the pilots is the easiest way to get away. There might be mistakes by them. I'm not saying no, but further in, we can't believe the situation. Why would any pilot touch the fuel control switch below 400 feet? It's beyond my imagination. Engines are absolutely great. The aircraft is great. I've always told this aircraft is a fabulous aircraft, very safe aircraft. Flown it as a commander for many years. So I really enjoyed the aircraft. Best aircraft I've flown of the three Boeings I've been flying for. But the situation, the way why somebody touches the fuel control switch. Somebody is now talking about mental condition of the pilots. Different aspects are coming up. International pilots are talking about whether they were stressed out. They had, what kind of mental burden they had in the cockpit. Something wrong. It doesn't come down to fuel control switch. We don't touch it. It is just beyond limits until we come up with this. We come up with some kind of situation. So definitely there is some situation which has created this step. If the fuel control switch were actually cut off and then brought back to run, and the RAT deploying, there was definitely some issue with the thrust. Otherwise, no pilot would touch it, man. No pilot would touch it. So my experience I'm not right now. Right now, experts have done checked those reports. But as a pilot, I don't think I'm convinced with the report. There are too many aircrafts flying around. Everybody's flying. We needed something bigger than this, so that the confidence of pilots in the cockpit has to come up. They are all going with a confused mindset. What has happened? Why did it happen? So and such a big disaster. This report, as per procedure, it is a preliminary report. I agree, but it's not going to help much. It's not going to help. It's only further confused everything. It's further put everything on the mental balance of the pilots now. Why did they cut off why did somebody cut off the fuel control switch? I don't think he'll touch it without any situation. So there is something beyond this, and there has to be some more research about it. This is very half-baked situation right now. We just can't say exactly what happened.
Well, sir, with the view of what you've just